Hi everyone, my name is Emily Ibach and this is my public relations plan for the Nebraska Farm Bureau Student Member Program. So just a little background on the Student Member Program. They are obviously provided by the Nebraska Farm Bureau, and it's just an opportunity for students as young as 16 to get involved in the Nebraska agriculture industry and ag issues that affect Nebraska, as well as get actively engaged and involved in the Nebraska Farm Bureau in hopes that they would stay involved as adults. So one thing we're working on for this is just to get more visibility and awareness about the program. And so just different ways that we can do that through public relations. So the goal is to educate students on the Nebraska Farm Bureau, who they are, what they do, and why they should be involved. So basically, there's a lot of students heavily involved in the agriculture industry that don't necessarily know what the Nebraska Farm Bureau is or what they do. And so this program is specifically provided to help those students understand what the Farm Bureau does and how they can get involved and help out. So the objectives that Audrey and I set, I worked with Audrey Smith. She's the Director of Youth Programs at Nebraska Farm Bureau. And so I worked closely with her throughout this process to really get a plan that would help her in her organization out, as well as myself in finishing this project. So, so the first objective we came up with is to increase awareness of the youth membership program. And to do that, I guess we'll talk about strategies in a minute. But the second objective we came up with is to increase student memberships by 20% in the 2016 fiscal year. So that's just a baseline number. Hopefully we can exceed that goal by quite a bit, but increasing it by 20% would be pretty significant as well. Next, the third objective we chose was to utilize social media to reach 50% of the target market each week. Audrey let me know that her weekly newsletters are opened at about a 53% rate. And so we really wanted to use that as a target in order to engage with followers on social media as well. So the target audience, the program is for youth ages 16 to 23, so that is our primary audience because that is who the program is for. The secondary audience would obviously be parents and grandparents of the primary audience because most of these parents and or grandparents can hear about the program and hopefully want their children and grandchildren to be involved as well. And just a few psychographics on the primary audience. They will most likely live on a farm or in a farming community. They're involved in 4-H and or FFA, and they actively search out ways to be more involved. And finally, they may or may not be related to a Nebraska Farm Bureau member or have ties to the Farm Bureau organization. So I think that's a pretty standard target audience. It fits pretty well with what we're doing and who we're speaking to. So a few strategies that we came up with to really just get this program going. It had a real good steam coming out of last year, and we just really want to keep it going and make it even more active and engaged and spread awareness. So the first strategy we came up with was to utilize County Farm Bureau and Collegiate Farm Bureau chapters to promote membership. Some counties have stronger chapters than others, and the UNL Collegiate Farm Bureau chapter has really taken off in the last year here at UNL. And so utilizing those contacts and ties that we have to those different organizations will really help us promote the program both at the county level and at the collegiate level. So the second strategy we have is to refine the student membership program website. Right now it looks pretty rough. It's really jumbled and doesn't really have a lot of direction to it, and so to really get a website page that creates interest and promotes readability, so that we can really drive people to the website through our social media efforts. The next is to grow, promote, and emphasize the crew as the social media wizards. The crew is a program that they're just starting. Applications just came out. And so basically it is going to be a group of students that just work on cool social media posts, whether that's flying drones or posting on their blog, just helping the Nebraska Farm Bureau, the Collegiate Farm Bureau, and the student membership program to come up with fun and interactive social media posts for their social media pages. The next strategy is to engage students and members at recruiting events such as state FFA, PACE, 4-H contests, and FFA leadership camps. These are pretty standard recruitment events for this target audience. They are used to seeing different organizations, different programs, different commodity groups, people like that at these events. And so to really get them to be engaged in our activities, our booths, is going to be key to really grabbing their attention and increasing membership. Finally, the last strategy we have is to host exclusive student member events throughout the year. These events will be more like mentoring or networking events for student members and leaders in the Nebraska Farm Bureau, both at a county and state level. And so I think they're great opportunities for students to engage with Farm Bureau, to network with their leader counterparts, and to understand what Farm Bureau is all about. So social media, like I said, we're going to use existing pages. The Nebraska Farm Bureau and the UNL Collegiate Farm Bureau specifically have very good followings. And so rather than take away from those followings, we want to capitalize on them and really promote the student membership program through those existing pages. One of the ways we want to promote the student membership program is through a hashtag Student Member Monday. I think that this gives a great pathway for at least weekly posts, but would also allow members of the crew or other members of the student membership program to use the hashtag to post about things that they're doing to create more awareness and spread more fun facts about what student members are up to. Finally, picture contests. The Nebraska Farm Bureau is known for their picture contests on social media. They have a lot of fun ones, usually around calving season or the fair. And so they get a lot of engagement. And so using that to our advantage to promote the student membership program is just another way to utilize social media and get some PR out there. For the website, like I said, it's kind of jumbled, so we just want to refine and reorganize the page. Instead of, create a section that has a clear purpose, followed by the opportunities and activities that the student members participate on, just to give the page a little bit more, make it a little bit more dynamic and clear to the target audience. Next, we have several events that we want to participate in. Nebraska Farm Bureau meetings, both at the county and state level. We will continue to encourage student members to go to those meetings just to be informed on what the issues are and what's going on in their respective counties or state. State FFA convention is going to be the main recruiting event that we have. Last year, the Nebraska Farm Bureau rented the rail yard and had a lot of great activities associated down there, and so I think that's a great opportunity to capitalize on that PR. But not only to, last year it was a lot of Nebraska Farm Bureau this, Nebraska Farm Bureau that, so to utilize that to really create a buzz about the student membership program and to promote that more with those events along with the Nebraska Farm Bureau. PACE 4-H sponsorship. This one doesn't come like State FFA does with a big career fair or anything like that, but there are opportunities to sponsor different events at PACE, different awards, and so using that just to keep the student membership and Nebraska Farm Bureau's name in front of the students, I think is a great idea. Next, the Collegiate Farm Bureau does a lot on campus, like I said earlier, so just continuing to utilize them and their strengths and their outreach will be important to keeping keeping the steam and allowing students to become involved in the student membership program. Many, if not all of the Collegiate Farm Bureau members are members of the student membership program, so it's a great way to advocate for the organization and to advocate for being, supporters of the ag industry and the Nebraska Farm Bureau. Finally, FFA FFA leadership conferences are a new idea that Audrey and I have come up with. FFA puts on a variety of chapter officer leadership trainings or other leadership type conferences. So being able to get in and have some breakout sessions there that talk about youth membership, youth advocacy for the ag industry, and more importantly, the Nebraska Farm Bureau and what the Farm Bureau does. So that those students have a good understanding of why they should be involved and why they want to be involved. Finally, the end of the summer barbecue is one of those exclusive student member events I was talking about earlier. I think it would just be a great way to network with and provide a mentorship opportunity for those students who are really interested in Farm Bureau or have questions about, different career paths or anything like that, agriculture issues, just to give them more opportunities to network with the leaders of the Nebraska Farm Bureau and to really get a good understanding of the Farm Bureau and the ag industry. Last but not least, scholarships. Those continue to be an important part of the Nebraska Farm Bureau and its support of the youth in Nebraska agriculture. And so just, by continuing to promote those and to keep those open for students in agriculture, I think is always an important part to get, some free publicity and PR when those students are recognized either at graduation or different community events. The budget is pretty much laid out with each event and each tactic throughout the paper that I provided for you, but the budget is not expected to exceed $8,000. The timeline is also included for the bigger events like state FFA. I'm suggesting that we start at least 8 months in advance, signing contracts and getting t-shirt designs and things like that. Whereas, closer to the event, a couple of months out, you can start with volunteers and details. Smaller events such as the barbecue or the leadership sessions, probably 4 months ahead would be about right. You just have to work with the FFA organization to ensure that those sessions are available and that they're willing to help out with those. Social media posts are suggested to be planned at least a month prior, just so you have an idea of who's posting and what they're posting as far as scheduled posts go. Obviously, you can't control if people use the hashtag or things like that, but those are just bonus posts at this point in time. We really would like to have a good monthly social media calendar that promotes the organization. So finally, measurement and evaluation. Obviously, increased memberships is the first and foremost way to increase or to gauge and measure our impact. Also, interaction and engagement on social media with such as likes, shares, comments, anything like that would indicate that there's more. An increase in those on our social media posts would indicate that more people are aware of the program and are interested in the program. Traffic to booths at conventions and club fairs is just a great way to keep people involved and engaged and aware of what we're doing. And finally, as scholarship applications increase, that would be an indication that we're reaching more people. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask me, and thanks for listening.